Part 51. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 501. Clang. There was a loud noise, and the sword energy collided with Fang Hongyuan's armor, and was completely blocked, failing to break through his defense. Boy, you can't even break through my defense. What should I do with you? A confident sneer appeared on Fang Hongyuan's face. With the protection of this armor, he was already invincible. This is the armor, which he arranged with special secret runes. It is a small protective formation that covers his body, and its defensive power is extremely amazing. Really, you're just a little skilled. A sneer appeared at the corner of Qin Feng's mouth. He stepped on the immortal step and rushed forward again. At this moment, Qin Feng directly used the Suzaku strike. Under the blessing of the Nine Forbiddens, the Suzaku strike soared to the sky with murderous intent. Suzaku struck, the storm surged, and a terrifying brilliance instantly illuminated Fang Hongyuan's protective armor. Click, click. The protective armor on Fang Hongyuan's body was a small formation, but it was dotted with points. Like a spider web, it instantly shattered into the void. It was so papery that it was vulnerable to a single blow and disappeared without a trace. How is this possible? Fang Hongyuan turned pale with horror, his eyes bursting with disbelief. The protective armor he condensed with murderous aura, even the existence of the prince's domain, could not easily break the opponent. How could the opponent break it so easily? Any formation in front of me is just paper and vulnerable. Qin Feng sneered and thrust out his sword again. As the sword light intertwined, the terrifying energy directly acted on Fang Hongyuan's body, blasting him from the void to the ground, and there was a loud noise. All the people in the mid-air in the distance were stunned. Qin Feng had just defeated the second Prince Yan Yun, and now he knocked Fang Hongyuan to the ground. This shocked everyone. Qin Feng's strength was really terrifying. It's hard to imagine. Marquis Fang Hongyuan's cultivation is at the third level of the prince's. This kind of strength is extremely strong and he can move sideways in the entire imperial city of Yan Kingdom. He was suppressed to the ground by Qin Feng's sword, which was frightening. Brush. Qin Feng landed and stepped on Fang Hongyuan's chest, looking down on him. Everyone knows that at this time, Qin Feng can crush Fang Hongyuan to pieces as long as he exerts a little force on his feet, and he will not be able to die again. Old dog, what can happen to the third level of the princes? As long as I want to kill you, it will be easy. Qin Feng's eyes flashed with murderous intent, and powerful murderous intent radiated out, making Fang Hongyuan tremble uncontrollably. If you want to kill or behead me, please do as you please. Fang Hongyuan's expression changed drastically. He knew that he had lost and could no longer compete with Qin Feng. He could only hold his neck and wait for the next death to come. However, Fang Hongyuan waited for a while holding his neck, only to find that Qin Feng had no intention of killing him at all. Qin Feng, what do you mean? Why don't you take action? Fang Hongyuan didn't understand. The other party had already won. Could it be that he wanted to humiliate himself? Do you really want to die? Qin Feng stared at Fang Hongyuan, and two sharp cold lights suddenly shot out from his eyes. What a joke, who in this world would want to die? Fang Hongyuan was terrified. He couldn't bear such terrifying pressure and felt a sense of fear originating from the depths of his soul. At this moment, Qin Feng was approaching, and he realized that the aura on the other side was even more shocking than the murderous intention cultivated in him. If he himself were a fierce ghost, Qin Feng would be more like King Yama from hell. This terrifying power was so supreme that it made his soul tremble. At this moment, facing Qin Feng's terrifying pressure, he finally lowered his arrogant head. He knew that Qin Feng must have wanted to make himself surrender by keeping his own life. I just don't know what the other party's request is. Can I accept it? To tell you the truth, before you came, the second Prince Yanyu was already deposed by me. Qin Feng sneered and said, and as his words fell, Fang Hongyuan was completely panicked. How is it possible? The second Prince Yan Yu is a prodigy in the imperial city. His strength is unfathomable. Even I may not be able to defeat him. Fang Hongyuan stopped talking before he finished speaking. His forehead was covered with cold sweat and he looked a little frightened. He knew that he had made a mistake. Even the strength of his third-level princes was directly suppressed by Qin Feng. How could he have the nerve to say that he was stronger than the second prince? Even if he is really stronger than the second prince, and he is suppressed, doesn't it just mean that the other party also has the strength to suppress the second prince? Qin Feng, the second prince is the proud son of heaven in the imperial city. If you act so domineeringly, Emperor Yan will never let you go. I think you should run away quickly. Fang Hongyuan shook his head. He was complaining in his heart. Being stepped on by Qin Feng at this moment made him extremely embarrassed and extremely humiliating. Run? Why should I run? Even if Emperor Yan comes, I can still make him surrender. Qin's words were filled with strong confidence. However, as his words fell, everyone around him was stunned, as if they were wood carvings. Emperor Yan is the true controller of the imperial city, and his cultivation is said to be at the 9th level of the princes. As long as Yanbei Holy Land does not reveal his secrets, few people can be his opponent. At this time, Qin Feng actually boasted that when Emperor Yan came, he would surrender and become his vassal. This made people think that Qin Feng must be crazy. Does the other party really think that he can run rampant in the imperial city by killing a few strong men? Ignorance is really fearless. Why don't you believe it? Qin Feng saw the other party's puzzled eyes and laughed immediately. He didn't want to be the emperor of Yanbei. Otherwise, with his strength, including the foundation of the Suzaku Holy Land, it would be easy to take down the imperial city. Because, his Pangu's foot was not used at all. If such a terrifying power was used, the entire palace would be destroyed. Of course, it is not ruled out that there will be a very terrifying foundation in the palace, but such an existence will also become a ruin under the bombardment of Pangu's foot. As for some people around, they all don't believe it. They don't believe Qin Feng's methods, and of course Qin Feng is too lazy to explain. Becoming the Yan Emperor of Yanbei is a burden to him. He doesn't know how to govern the country. He just wants to be happy in the world. Moreover, if Yan Yun becomes the Yan Emperor, it will be a good thing for him. He came here to help Yan Yun. As for the result, he doesn't care much. Moreover, if Yan Yun became the Yan Emperor, it would also be beneficial to the Suzaku Holy Land, otherwise he would not help Yan Yun. Although your son's cultivation is ruined, it is not impossible to cure it. For example, I have a pill that can heal him and restore his original cultivation level. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 502. Qin Feng smiled and lifted his feet and let go of Fang Hongyuan. In this way, Marquis Fang Hongyuan finally breathed a sigh of relief. He hurriedly climbed up from the ground, and the divine power surged around him to seal his injuries and prevent them from worsening. As a prince, although he still has the strength to fight, his combat effectiveness is not as good as before. If he wants to return to his previous state, he will need to rest for more than half a month. Sir, if you really have the elixir that can cure my son, I will pay no matter the price. Fang Hongyuan's eyes lit up. He had devoted countless efforts to his son Fang Nian, and he was indeed living up to his expectations. He had reached the formless realm at a young age and would definitely succeed him in the future. However, the other party was just destroyed by Qin Feng, which made him extremely uncomfortable. When he heard that there was a chance that he could be cured, he was instantly overjoyed and his eyes brightened. I can save it if I can, but I only have one pill, so I sell it very expensively. More importantly, I have also destroyed the second prince. Who will use this pill? You but think clearly. Qin Feng waved his hand and took out a 9-turn resurrection pill from his arms. As the pill appeared, spiritual energy immediately lingered around the place, and a divine spring even appeared on the ground. In the large lake that was originally in ruins, several plants suddenly bloomed. Some seeds buried deep in the ground sprouted and turned into green grass in an instant. It can be imagined that this elixir contains energy. This. Fang Hongyuan was stunned. Qin Feng's words were spoken in front of everyone. The other party did want to sell the elixir to him, but this would undoubtedly make him make a difficult decision. The elixir that could cure Fang Nian was extremely precious in the world. As far as he knew, he could not find even one in the entire imperial city even to his death. Moreover, he could feel that the medicinal effect contained in Qin Feng's pill did have great hope of curing his child's injuries. But if there was only one such elixir, it would be difficult for him to make a choice whether it should be used by Fang Nian or the second prince. Is there really only one? Fang Hongyuan didn't give up. Although Fang Nian was injured by the other party, Fang Nian struck first. It's no wonder that the other party was injured. For Fang Nian's future, he had to compromise in exchange for the other party's elixir. Of course there is only one. I got this elixir from a secret realm. If you want it, I can exchange it for 30,000 years of elixir. Naturally, Qin Feng had no intention of giving it to the other party for free. He still had many such elixirs in his hands, which he had refined near Yaoxian Peak. The reason why he did this was that he wanted to get some 10,000-year elixir, and the other was to let Fang Hongyuan make a choice. Fang Hongyuan was from Yan Yu's lineage. If he only had one pill, he could only choose between Yan Yu and his son. If the other party is for his son, then he must side with the Yanyun family, otherwise, his son will become a useless person. Yaqing Cheng on the side listened to the pills in Qin Feng's hands, and couldn't help but feel contempt in her heart. She knew that the pills that Qin Feng refined outside Yaoxian Peak had dozens of pills at most. The other party was so open-minded, he was simply thrifty. Manage the household and do business to the extreme. I'll change. Fang Hongyuan gritted his teeth. He waved his hand and took out all his property from his space. These extremely precious elixirs include hundreds of elixirs that are worth 8,000 years, and dozens of elixirs that are worth 10,000 years. Together, these should be worth 30,000-year-old elixir. Fang Hongyuan spent all his savings, and he had to take all these people with him in case of emergencies. Well, so. Qin Feng was as fast as lightning, and instantly collected all these elixirs into his own space, and then handed the elixir in his hand to Fang Hongyuan. As for how Fang Hongyuan chose, he didn't care at all. After doing all this, Qin Feng was ready to leave. The turmoil caused here was so violent that it almost made the imperial city pierce the sky. The geniuses here are as silent as a cicada. No one dares to stop Qin Feng. Even the noble princes can't do anything about it. How can they dare to stop Qin Feng? Soon after, Qin Feng, Yan Yun Lanyu and others waved goodbye and prepared to visit the imperial city. Everything here is over, and Yan Yun also sent people to deal with the situation. At this moment, people can relax. It was at this time that a thin sword appeared in the hand of a maid beside Lan Yu and stabbed Yeching Cheng, who was standing aside. The opponent's speed was extremely fast, and there was no wind in his shot, which gave him a very weird feeling. Yeching Cheng's cultivation was banned. Faced with such a sudden attack, she had no power to resist, just at the moment when she was about to be defeated. Soon after, Qin Feng stepped on the immortal step and was already in front of Yeching Cheng. Bang! As if Qin Feng traveled through time and space, he directly suppressed the heaven-turning seal in his hand. His powerful strength shone brightly and directly killed the maid, who took action on the spot. She could not die again after she died. At this time, another maid beside Lan Yu also stabbed Yeching Cheng's throat with a sword, and the speed was not unpleasant. The thin sword pierced through the void with murderous intent. Before it even got close, the sword energy directly chopped off a strand of Luo Yakingchen's hair. At the critical moment, Qin Feng's palms intertwined with true energy and grabbed the rapier. Then, he exerted force and directly shattered the rapier into the void, turning it into fragments. Swoosh! The killer saw that he had missed, and instantly flew into the air, trying to escape. However, Qin Feng was extremely fast, and he caught up with the other party in an instant and grabbed the other party's neck. "Tell me who asked you to come." However, as soon as Qin Feng's voice fell, the killer saw that he could not escape, gritted his teeth, spurted blood, and died on the spot. This. Qin Feng casually threw the body in his hand aside, and the other party swallowed poison and committed suicide. As the two people died, their bones and muscles changed, and they became two very ordinary women. What a weird way to change their appearance and bones. These two people are not our maids. There was a little light in Lan Yu's eyes. She checked the two bodies and came to this conclusion. I don't know when these two people started to dress up as maids and sneaked into the Tianjiao Grand Gathering, even fooling her. And the two maids of her Lan family must have had a miserable end. They are from the Killer Dynasty. Yakingchen's eyes flashed with coldness. This was the disguise technique of the Killer Dynasty. She recognized it at a glance. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 503. Yaqing Chen was still in shock. If Qin Feng hadn't blocked the attacks of the two men at the critical moment, she would have died. Killer God Dynasty. Qin Feng frowned when he heard this. The two men attacked Yaqing Chen, obviously wanting to silence this girl to prevent the other party from revealing the stronghold of the Killer Dynasty. Seeing Yaqing Chen's gloomy look, Qin Feng didn't know what to say. In the past few days when this girl was captured by him, she had been refusing to tell him the stronghold of the Assassin Dynasty. She had done her utmost to be benevolent and righteous. She has not done anything to disgrace the Killer Dynasty. Moreover, as the goddess of the Killer Dynasty, she has done many things for the Killer Dynasty. Even if she has no credit, she still has hard work. Not only did Shen Chao not come to save her, but he also sent people to attack and kill her. This all told her that she had been abandoned by the killer Shen Chao and was considered a threat. Let's go. Qin Feng did not mention the Assassin Dynasty, but took the maids and apprentices and began to wander around the imperial city. Soon after, they returned to Suzaku and began to prepare for the trouble they would encounter next. There is no doubt that the second prince was injured by Qin Feng, and the people in the imperial city of Yan will never give up. Moreover, he destroyed the Xia family, and the superior being behind the Xia family will never give up. Moreover, the power structure of the 8 princes of Yan Kingdom has changed. As for what the future will be like, things are tilting in Yan Yun's direction. At night, the sky is quiet, like the calm before the storm. In the palace of Qin Feng, he sat cross-legged on the jade futon and began to meditate. Countless spiritual energy and moonlight gathered together, rendering his body crystal clear and filled with immortal energy. Squeak! The palace door was opened, and a graceful figure walked in. The other party's figure is perfect to the extreme. The perfect face has the delicacy of a girl, but the figure has the charm of a young woman, which is extremely attractive. Yaqing Chen looked at Qin Feng shrouded in the moonlight, his expression extremely complicated. She didn't know how to face each other. They were enemies at first, but they got their first taste of cloud and rain by chance in the wild. Originally, she should have disliked him to the extreme, but after being with him for the past few days, her feelings were changing subtly. Especially today on the street, after being rescued by the other party, she didn't know what to do but faced him. She is an orphan who grew up in the killer dynasty. In her heart, that is her place. However, now that place has become a hell. If you want to kill her, the world is so big that she feels that there is no place for her. She knew that the killer dynasty would not stop after its operation failed, and the other party would definitely get rid of her as a threat. In other words, her situation is extremely dangerous. She has been banned from cultivating her. She has no chance of winning and can only die. Qin Feng, I hope you can unlock my cultivation. As a condition, I have something I want to give you. Ye Qingchen looked shy. She knew that with Qin Feng's cultivation level, he must have known that she had come in. However, since the other party pretended not to know and made no move, she had no choice but to speak first. What? Qin Feng, who was cross-legged, raised his eyebrows. This girl took the initiative to run into her dormitory. What did she want to do? Brush. Ye Qingchen closed her eyes, gritted her teeth, and her clothes instantly faded away, revealing her pure white body. The perfect and exquisite curves were suddenly exposed to the air and could be seen at a glance. Let me go, what are you doing? Is this really good? Qin Feng opened his eyes. Although he said this, his eyes wandered over Ye Qingchen's perfect body, making his cheeks turn red. Although the two of them had met once before, meeting like this now still made them very embarrassed and extremely shy. Qin Feng, from today on, I am yours, and I hope you can protect me. If you don't want to protect me, I won't let you take responsibility. I just hope you can unlock my cultivation. Let me fly away. Ye Qingchen's face was extremely red with embarrassment. Without any cultivation, he was just like fish on a sticky board, without any ability to protect himself. I'm very happy that you can say this. Please put on your clothes quickly. Don't worry, as long as I'm here, no one will dare to bully you. When Qin Feng heard this, he immediately said, joking, the other party is his woman, of course he has to protect her. Really? Certainly. Qin Feng said with a smile, but his eyes wandered over Ye Qingchen's body, not letting go for a moment. That's great, thank you. When Ye Qingchen heard this, a smile suddenly appeared on her face. She jumped directly into Qin Feng's arms and kissed Qin Feng's face. This brought a smile to Qin Feng's face, and he reached out to hug Ye Qingchen. Unexpectedly, the other party immediately stood up like a swimming fish, put on his clothes and opened the door. I'm not ready yet. Once I get to know you well, I'll dedicate myself to you. After Ye Qingchen said this, he ran away with a shy expression. Qin Feng was left alone, sitting in the room confused and messy. Hey, don't leave. Isn't that how the two of you become familiar with each other after interacting a lot? In the palace, Qin Feng was sitting on a jade futon with a look of tears on his face. The duck he got just flew away. Who could he ask to reason with? After a while, Qin Feng's door was pushed open again, and an eccentric girl ran over. Master, what was that woman Ye Qingchen doing in your room just now? Zhou Qing'er asked a little tastefully, her pretty face filled with a little disbelief. Ah! It's nothing. You just came to wash my feet. Qin Feng opened his mouth to come, but he closed his eyes tightly, letting Ye Qingchen run away before the evil fire came. Don't let this little girl mess around, otherwise he was really afraid that he wouldn't be able to control it. Really? Why do I think Ye Qingchen ran away in disheveled clothes? Master, aren't you bullying the other party? I think you two look weird. Zhou Qing'er's IQ suddenly went up. She looked at Qin Feng with evil intentions and really wanted to swallow this little master in one gulp. How is it possible? Am I such a person? Don't lie, I am not. Qin Feng said righteously, he really wanted to, but the other party ran away and he didn't do anything at all. Isn't this a simple act of desecrating someone's innocence? Zhou Qing'er puffed out her cheeks and looked at her cheap master, who was only 2 or 3 years older than her and was becoming more and more masculine. Master, otherwise, I will call you Qin Feng from now on, right? Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 504. Zhou Qing'er smiled again and again. She looked at Qin Feng with bad intentions and had bad intentions. What are you thinking about, girl? Qin Feng's eyes were suspicious. He loved and had a headache for this little apprentice. He was weird and good-looking, but he was impure and wanted to take him down as his master. Can't you? Zhou Qing'er exhaled like a orchid. She stared at Qin Feng, trying to make Qin Feng look like a fool. It turns out that master really likes the teacher-student relationship. The little girl murmured in a low voice. She looked at Qin Feng with a smile, and her heart was moved. TCH, what are you thinking about every day? Qin Feng's ears were extremely strong and he could easily hear the other person's murmurs. He directly raised his hand and gave a violent shudder to the other person's forehead. Ah, it hurts so much. Master, please be gentle. Zhou Qing'er covered her forehead and said exaggeratedly, and her figure came directly outside the palace, swearing her sovereignty. Forehead. Qin Feng was speechless for a while. If such words were spread and heard by others, they would not think that he was doing something bad. Little girl, stay calm and go make my bed, and then you go back to sleep quickly. Qin Feng urged, asking this girl to stay. She still didn't know what was going to happen. Master, I can warm your bed. When Zhou Qing'er heard this, her brows suddenly lit up with joy. There was a cunning look in her eyes, and she didn't know what she was holding back. You girl, if this spreads out, how will you behave like a little girl? Qin Feng scolded that he really couldn't do anything about this girl. This girl was very painful and made him want to protect her. I'm not afraid, because I will follow master for the rest of my life. Zhou Qing'er raised her eyebrows. The master was so stupid and didn't know what he was thinking. It was really worrying. Qin Feng was speechless when he heard this. This girl was teasing him and asking questions. Girl, please go back quickly. Master's practice is at a critical moment and it is not appropriate to disturb him. Qin Feng opened his eyes and told lies. He realized that he could hardly suppress the evil fire aroused by Yeching Cheng just now. If this continued, big problems would arise. Master, if you really think so, then I'll leave. But I can leave, but I have a condition. Zhou Qing'er's eyes lit up, and she suddenly had a good idea. What conditions? If it's troublesome, I won't agree. Qin Feng asked strangely, has this girl changed her temper? But it's okay, I have to get rid of this girl quickly. Master, close your eyes, and I will give you a gift made by myself. Zhou Qing'er blinked her beautiful eyes and looked at Qin Feng with interest, not knowing what she was planning. Surprise. Or fright. Qin Feng had a dark look on his face. This girl was too thoughtful and he didn't know what to say. Of course it's a surprise. Master, close your eyes. Zhou Qing'er put her hand on the storage ring. She looked at Qin Feng expectantly and urged. When Qin Feng heard this, he immediately closed his eyes and was ready to send this girl away and practice hard. Master, you are not allowed to open your eyes, and you are not allowed to use your soul to peek. Zhou Qing'er smiled charmingly, her eyes forming crescent moons. I know. Qin Feng rolled his eyes speechlessly. Could it be that the other party wanted him to see some clothes, or was it a dead stock? The moment Qin Feng closed his eyes, he felt a burst of fragrance coming to his nose. Then, something soft and warm touched her cheek, and then Zhou Qing'er turned into a ray of light and rushed out of the palace. Forehead. Qin Feng was stunned for a while. He opened his eyes on the jade futon, and the delicate touch of Zhou Qing'er's red lips before leaving was still on his cheeks. After a long time, Qin Feng silently touched the place where Zhou Qing'er had kissed and came to his senses. It's over, it's over, I have this girl as my apprentice, and he actually wants to have sex with me. Qin Feng was speechless. He sat on the jade futon with a silly look on his face full of a smile that could not be hidden. You actually don't even let your apprentice go. Ye Cheng came back, her pink lips trembling, her pretty face covered with an incredibly exaggerated look. For it. Qin Feng saw Ye Cheng's incredible and shocked expression, and he knew that this girl had misunderstood. The other party appeared just now. Qin Feng didn't know why the other party came back, and he misunderstood when he saw Zhou Qing'er running away from his room. Why are you back? Qin Feng could only change the topic to cover up his embarrassment. He looked at Ye Cheng and asked. You haven't untied my Fengyi yet. Ye Cheng's eyes sparkled with a little light, and she naturally changed the subject. Ah, I thought you were jealous and came back here on purpose. Qin Feng deliberately sighed. Ye Cheng, this girl, was his first woman. She had a first-class figure and appearance, which made him very excited. What are you thinking about? How could I be jealous? Our God Lord has more than 100 Taoist companions. Ye Cheng's face turned red with embarrassment. She gave Qin Feng an angry look. She didn't like him, so how could she be angry? But, why do I feel sour in my heart? Oh, so you are jealous, but you really misunderstood. That girl and I have nothing to do with each other. Qin Feng explained innocently that the little disciple was very good, but it was not the time to push him down. The other party's cultivation method was not the right time to break the virginity. Really? Ye Cheng blinked her beautiful eyes and asked in disbelief, but in an instant, she knew that she had lost her composure. She actually cared about whether the other party was really doing something. What happened? Of course it's true. Qin Feng spread his hands and looked at Ye Cheng with a smile, instantly making Ye Cheng blush. Don't explain, explaining is denying, you quickly remove my seal. Ye Cheng glared at her beautiful eyes, and she suddenly realized why she cared so much about the other party. It's actually very simple to remove the seal. As long as you use my cultivation method to practice dual cultivation, you can completely break the ban. Qin Feng said with a smirk. He looked at the other party leisurely. How could he let the beauty fly again? Ye Cheng opened her mouth, and peach blossoms appeared on her cheeks, which were delicate and charming. She lowered her eyes slightly, and couldn't believe it. Is it true? Why do I feel like you are lying to me? Ye Cheng hesitated and seemed very unconfident. In order to deal with the attack of the killer dynasty, she really needed to remove the restrictions on her body. Of course it's true. How could I lie to you? Do you think I'm that kind of person? Qin Feng said very exaggeratedly, with a smile in his eyes, and joked. It's so late, what are you two doing alone in the room? Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbs feed -01, container, tabula below article feed, placement, below article feed, target. Type, mix. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 505. Just then, Qin Feng's door was pushed open again, and three graceful figures appeared in his room. Zuck and Zhu Xiaoman were looking at Qin Feng and Ye Cheng in surprise, while his little apprentice Zhou Qing'er was hiding behind them, secretly looking at Qin Feng and Ye Cheng, with a suspicious look in her eyes. I came to Qin Feng to ask him to unseal my cultivation. He has agreed, but he said there is a condition. Ye Cheng smiled sweetly, and her eyes were full of cunning. She was sure that the conditions for dual cultivation that Qin Feng had just mentioned must have been a lie to her, and he was definitely thinking about it. Conditions? What conditions? Didn't the master say that you are very dangerous? How could he let you go? Zhou Qing'er's beautiful eyes glared, and her eyes swept across Ye Cheng and Qin Feng. She felt that the two of them must have had an affair. Not long ago, Zhou Qing'er had just left Qin Feng's palace and saw Ye Qingcheng sneaking into the master's room. In her opinion, the two must be doing something illegal. So, she immediately found Zuck and Zhu Xiaoman, and sneaked over to see what the two were doing. Ahaha, what are the conditions? In fact, it was Ye Qingcheng who agreed to submit to me, so I decided to let her go. Qin Feng knew that the good things tonight might not happen, so he spoke quickly. At the same time, with the tip of his finger, beams of light penetrated the void and touched Ye Qingcheng's body, removing all the restrictions on the other party. Ye Qingcheng has now been abandoned by the Killer Divine Dynasty. The Killer Divine Dynasty will never let her go. She has nowhere to go except to follow the method. Hey, didn't you just say you wanted to? Ye Qingcheng smiled slyly. She opened her mouth, and a teasing expression appeared on her beautiful face. You heard it wrong, it's because it takes my true energy to remove the seal for you. Qin Feng smiled awkwardly. His little apprentice always ruined his good things, making him not know what to say. He sent a message to Ye Qingcheng in his heart, saying, "Okay, stop adding fuel to the fire, and leave quickly." It turns out that I misunderstood. If everything is fine, I will leave first. Ye Qingcheng lowered her eyes slightly, bowed slightly to Qin Feng, and then left his bedroom in the eyes of everyone. In the palace, the three beauties all looked puzzled. Obviously, they did not believe what he said just now. In the minds of Zuck and Zhu Xiaoman, a child of heaven like Qin Feng is easy to attract bees and butterflies. It is impossible for Ye Qingcheng to have no ideas. They only care about who Qin Feng will take down first, or who of them will take down Qin Feng first. Zhou Qing'er saw that Qin Feng's good thing was broken, and then, a look of success appeared on her cheeks. She pulled Zhu Xiaoman and Zuck and escaped from Qin Feng's bedroom. Qin Feng was left alone in the messy bedroom. At midnight, a strange wave appeared near Qin Feng's palace. Qin Feng, who was resting, opened his eyes in an instant. Swish! Qin Feng stood up from the palace and came to the courtyard. At this moment, it was late at night, the bright moonlight was hiding behind the dark clouds, and a cold wind blew in the courtyard, full of murderous air. Qin Feng thought it was unscientific that he had caused such a big mess, but the imperial city was extremely calm. He expected that someone would definitely come to kill him. As for whether the other party was the Killer Dynasty or the Xia family, it was unknown. Buzz! At this moment, a brilliant light in the air landed directly and slapped towards Qin Feng. This was a black big hand, with energy covering the sky and the earth, creating a terrifying wave like an ocean. Qin Feng's eyes were slightly cold. He held up the sky with one hand, and the sun's true fire flowed from his palm, blocking it upward. Boom! A shocking sound was heard, and the tiles on the roof of a nearby building were blown away by the force of the two people. It is conceivable how terrible such power is. Damn, he is almost on par with the fourth level of the princes. Qin Feng's heart was pounding. This person was shrouded in black fog, and the murderous aura was intertwined around him, just like a killing god. Who is it? At the first moment, the elders of the Suzaku mansion and countless monks were alarmed. They opened the door, rushed out of the house and came to the courtyard, and were about to rush into the sky. Quickly retreat, you are not his opponent. Qin Feng's face was extremely calm. He quickly ordered that if some people in the Suzaku Holy Land were killed by this strong man in order to save him, it would be a loss. Upon hearing this, Zhu Luo and other elders gathered together and were on high alert. The person who could be treated so nervously by Qin Feng must be a powerful master. If they went up, they would only become cannon fodder. Hee, kid, I didn't expect you to be so cunning. It's already late at night, and you are still so cautious. The night walker was shrouded in black fog and stared at Qin Feng coldly. He originally wanted to shoot Qin Feng's palace into ruins without making any sound. Unexpectedly, the other party actually discovered his traces in the first time and attacked him. This extraordinary spiritual perception made him very surprised. I knew someone would come to kill me, but I have too many enemies. Who are you? Qin Feng looked down at the other party and sneered. The man in front of him was fearless. He was either the assassin dynasty or some people in the palace. As for the Duanmu family, Qin Feng didn't think about it at all. The Duanmu family had been raised by him long ago, and it was impossible for them to have such a powerful person. Who am I? Let's wait for you to go to hell and let the king of hell tell you. The words of the Night Walker were extremely cold. He was shrouded in black fog and looked extremely dark. Wisps of black fog lingered around him, shaking the countless rubble that had just been flying into powder. It was an extremely terrifying killing momentum. The other party's breath was like a stormy wave, which made people feel depressed and almost suffocated. Obviously, he was extremely powerful and was definitely not an ordinary person. Humph, since you don't say it, I'll send you on your way. Qin Feng shouted coldly, and he exuded a breathtaking light. He took out his own Juexian sword, and the sword light crossed the sky, the sword energy pierced the sky, and then swept forward. Qi La. The terrifying sword energy shot out between heaven and earth, and a huge buzzing sound was heard in the void. The sword energy was like a raging wave, surging and sweeping across the sky, extremely dazzling. The goddess Yeching Chen below had a cold light in her eyes. She looked at the figure in the void, thinking. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 506. It's the Night Demon Lord from Nanling. Ye Qingqing's heart skipped a beat as she recognized the figure of the person coming. When she was in the Assassin dynasty, she came into contact with all kinds of information. The person who came was shrouded in grey mist, but that kind of aura all revealed the identity of the other person, that he was the Night Demon Lord in Nanling. According to legend, the Dark Night Demon Lord was a powerful demonic body. He had caused countless massacres, which made him famous. Unexpectedly, the other party actually came to the Suzaku mansion and wanted to kill Qin Feng. This made her terrified. She knew who could invite the Dark Night Demon. What? It's actually the Dark Night Demon. Why did the Dark Night Demon come to us? When some elders of the Suzaku Holy Land heard this, their pupils shrank instantly. The atmosphere in the venue was extremely solemn. The heaven and earth were trembling, and it was so oppressive that people were about to suffocate. The Night Stalker has a notorious reputation. Rumor has it that he possesses extreme speed and is extremely good at harassing people. He is a notorious villain. Many holy places have also suffered losses from the Dark Night Demon, because the other party was too fast, and all those who went to kill him were tricked to death by the other party, so until the end, they still let the other party get away with it. Lord Dark Night Demon, my holy son of the Suzaku Holy Land has never offended you. Why did you come to attack and kill the holy son of our holy land? Jura frowned, a powerful aura lingered around him, and he stared at the Night Demon in the sky. At this time, Zuluo had fully recovered and was already in the formless realm. However, in such a realm, there was no room for him to fight back against the Dark Night Demon. To tell you the truth, Yan Yu is my apprentice. He is so outstanding and he is an important chess piece for me to control the great Yan kingdom in the future, but you have actually destroyed him. Do you think you have offended me? The Dark Night Demon had murderous intent and an extremely sinister smile. His invisible killing thoughts turned into peerless sharpness, which shocked the heroes below and made them speechless. What? Such a thing could happen. When Zuluo and others heard this, they were all shocked. The Dark Knight demon, who had done many evil things, actually wanted to control the entire Yan kingdom. If such a person controlled a country, he would probably bring disaster to all living beings. However, the second prince's cultivation level has reached half the level of the prince's, and his strength is unparalleled, almost on par with the Night Demon. I'm afraid that even if the second prince is not destroyed by Qin Feng, the other party's plan will come to nothing. I've ruined my good deeds and will send you on your way today. The murderous thoughts of the Dark Knight demon turned into peerless sharpness, pointing directly at people's origins. The temperature in the void dropped sharply, as if the cold winter was coming, and black snowflakes were flying all over the sky. They were the murderous thoughts transformed by true energy. Call out. Qin Feng frowned, and raised his hand to hit the sky. The sun's true energy transformed into a gorgeous palm wind, and the sun's breath filled the air. The huge palm moved, as if it had turned into a millstone, and shook into the sky, blocking the invisible murderous thoughts. Puff, puff, puff. If black snowflakes encounter boiling magma, they will melt instantly. Sounds will continue to be heard in the sky, and terrifying divine power will sweep across the 10 directions. The true energy of the sun, the strongest and most powerful, resisted the invisible murderous thoughts of Lord Black Knight. One after another, the peerless sharpness was wiped out by Qin Feng, and the terrifying killing power was resolved. The two of them were two extremes. The Dark Knight demon was filled with murderous intent, and his whole body was extremely cold, like a terrifying weapon. As for Qin Feng, he was as bright as the sun and his whole body was as gorgeous as the sun. He gave off a fierce and domineering aura, and he had a general trend that swept the world. However, Qin Feng had some doubts. The Dark Knight Demon Lord's true energy has dark attributes, while the second Prince Yan Yu's true energy is sacred and magnificent. Can this person really cultivate a master as powerful as the second Prince Yan Yu? Qin Feng, don't think that you are from the ancient Qin clan and you can become my opponent if you defeat Yan Yu. I want you to know what an immortal inheritance is. The aura of the Dark Knight demon became more and more tyrannical, and his murderous intent was revealed. The black energy condensed into a killing sword, and a terrifying aura flowed out. Some low-level monks below couldn't help but convulse their bodies and almost fell to their knees. The aura was so powerful that their blood seemed to have stopped. Immortal inheritance. Qin Feng frowned slightly when he heard this. He couldn't think about anything else. The vision of the God King around him instantly enveloped him and became extremely bright. The absolute immortal sword was in his palm, and the light of the sun flowed out. He was as bright as a sun, and the Suzaku sword technique hit directly forward. Boom! There was a thunder in the void, and Qin Feng's immortal sword collided with the killing sword in the opponent's hand. The terrifying sword roar penetrated the golden crack stone, and the sword light made people's souls almost collapse. It was so tyrannical that it was unimaginable. Both of them had their sword energy soaring into the sky, with black and golden sword light everywhere. The terrifying power swept across all directions, blowing up the true cyclone wind and destroying all the tangible things they encountered. Die! The Dark Knight demon shouted loudly, and the black killing sword in his hand tore through the void. Under his roar, the sky shook and the earth shook, and cracks several meters wide suddenly appeared in the countless buildings below. It was terrifying. The power spreads and is extremely frightening. In the imperial city of Dian Kingdom, half of the city was awakened, and countless common people and monks were all awakened. Their eyes were no exception, and they all looked at the mansion where Qin Feng was, the seat of the original Xia family, in horror and horror. What happened? Why is the Xia family in chaos again? No, it should be the Suzaku mansion. The people who were awakened were all talking about it. Some people pushed open the door, stood on the roof of their house, and looked into the distance. The power spreading out there was extremely terrifying. The two people's divine power rushed into the sky and exerted all their power to the extreme. The terrible sword light and divine power fluctuated, even splitting the void in half, spreading countless large cracks, and exuding a very terrible breath, as if it was going to collapse the world. The black sword light and the golden Suzaku sword technique became eternal between heaven and earth. Black and gold covered everything between heaven and earth, making the imperial city of the great Yan kingdom become awe-inspiring. Such a shocking sword light shook the world, and the entire imperial city was shrouded in a loud noise, awakening half of the capital of the Yan kingdom. Nima, it's terrible. It's so late and you don't sleep. Do you want people to live? If you want to fight, go outside the city. Countless people grumbled in dissatisfaction. Of course, they didn't dare to run to the two people to yell, otherwise, if they angered the two people, they would be beaten into meat paste with a palm. The divine power emanating from the sky above the Suzaku mansion also shook the great Yan kingdom's palace. Inside the palace hall, the Yan emperor, who was sitting on top of a tree, looked down at his 7 sons below, with a terrifying murderous aura in his eyes. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 507. The Emperor of Yan sat on the tall golden dragon throne. He dismissed the attendants on both sides and looked down at the 7th Prince Yan Yun below, with murderous intent in his eyes. Yan Yun, you are very good. You really make your father look at you with new eyes. The Emperor of Yan looked at Yan Yun, his voice was extremely cold. When the second Emperor Yan Yu was brought back, he immediately summoned the imperial doctors to treat Yan Yu. But the answers he got were all the same. Yan Yu was completely useless. Only by finding the legendary 9 Revolutions pill could he recover. But this 9 Revolutions pill, I am afraid that there are not many pills in the whole world. Even if he is the Emperor of Yan, there is no way to get the 9 Revolutions pill. He did not hesitate to kill several pill masters and imperial doctors for this, but he could only do nothing. He had to admit that Yan Yu, the heir he valued very much, had completely become a waste, and the future of the great Yan kingdom could not be handed over to him. Father, I don't know why you summoned me here. The 7th Prince Yan Yun pretended to be confused. He knelt on the ground and said, but his mind was spinning rapidly. The news that Emperor Yan ordered to be sent out was that he had suffered a serious internal injury, which forced him to find Dan Wang to treat his illness. This is also one of the reasons why they dared to take action directly in order to seize the throne. However, at this moment, seeing that the other party did not look sick at all, he was completely stunned. You and Yan Yu are competing for the position of Crown Prince, each using their own means. I don't care. You can think of winning over the Suzaku Holy Land to fight against Yan Yu. This is a wise way. But you have to know that if you drive the wolf to swallow the tiger, you may end up losing yourself. I have drafted an edict to pass the throne to you. If I die in the future, the throne of Yan will be yours, but you must remember that Qin Feng must not stay. In the eyes of Emperor Yan, there was a sudden murderous intent. The dragon energy of the imperial way was intertwined around him, and he was full of energy. He was extremely sacred and domineering. There was no sign of illness at all. You go down. The Emperor of Yan lowered his eyes, waved his hand, and gave a direct order to Yan Yun. Your son, take your leave. Frightened, Yan Yun left the palace hall. The cold wind blew, making his spine shiver. Only then did he realize that he was already wet with cold sweat. Facing his father, he felt great pressure. The other party seemed to have a way to control everything, making it difficult for him to control himself. At this time, he had already determined that his father was seriously ill, and it was completely a trick. The other party deliberately spread this news to make their brothers struggle for power surface. Now that the second prince has been abolished, the other princes are all wastes. In the great Yan imperial city, only Yan Yun is worthy of the Emperor of Yan's training. Sitting on the throne, the Emperor of Yan's eyes revealed a shocking murderous intent. In his eyes, there was a cold light flashing, unfathomable. In his mind, no matter how the two fought, as long as they didn't use assassins, he would not ask about it. However, Yan Yun's men abolished the second prince, and this matter must not be ignored. The other party was just an outsider. Since he dared to discipline his offspring, he must not stay in this world. Above the Suzaku mansion, the void was melted, the terrible sword energy moved the 9 heavens, and the clouds in the sky were shaken apart. The dark clouds dispersed, revealing the bright moon. Under the moon, the two were like two gods, running across the sky, and the scene was extremely terrifying. Die! The dark night demon lord roared, roaring to shake the mountains and rivers, and countless black sword beams gathered around him, densely covering the entire sky. Qin Feng was horrified. The dark night demon lord was so powerful that he was really powerful. The other party was fearless and had a powerful backup move. Qi La. The Juexian sword interweaves the holy light and crosses the sky. The sword light is like a golden dragon, shaking, and the terrifying dragon breath permeates between heaven and earth. Kaka. The invisible sword energy around the dark night demon lord was extinguished by Qin Feng's sword moves, stirring up the wind and clouds in the sky. The void is constantly collapsing, the peerless sword light slashes, surging vertically and horizontally, countless sword energy spreads between heaven and earth, and 4 runes appear, trying to seal the opponent in the big formation. No wonder you can defeat my apprentice, it's really amazing. The face of the Dark Knight Demon Lord changed drastically. He attacked with all his strength, and the black sword light turned into thousands of sword lights, piercing the void. Boom! The terrible sword energy moved the 9 heavens, and the huge energy fluctuations destroyed all obstacles. The 4-elephant rune formation that Qin Feng played instantly collapsed in the sky like a dam bursting. The terrifying impact destroyed everything. The space where Qin Feng stood was almost unable to bear it. Ripples spread out and the space almost collapsed. However, Qin Feng was standing in the 9 forbidden area at this time. Suzaku's attack flowed out terrifying aura, and Suzaku's divine fire was even more unfathomable. He jumped away from this place and floated higher in the sky. Although Suzaku Mansion had his array, the battle reached a white-hot situation. The two were afraid that they would turn the Suzaku Mansion into ruins. This was Qin Feng's industry, and he didn't want to see such a result. And the two fought in the sky above the imperial city, and the fluctuations that burst out would cause incalculable consequences. I am afraid that the people of the imperial city would suffer, as if the end of the world was coming, causing unpredictable consequences. You go back to Suzaku Holy Land and wait for me. Qin Feng's words were transmitted over the Suzaku Mansion. At this time, the imperial city was no longer a place to stay for a long time. Only the Suzaku Holy Land was the safest. As Qin Feng's voice fell, Zhu Luo immediately sent people to take Zhu Xiaoman, Zhou Qing'er, Wang Shui, and others to the Suzaku Holy Land. Qin Feng's guess was indeed correct. Just after they left the Suzaku Holy Land, a line of enemies jumped out and came to kill Zhu Xiaoman, Zhou Qing'er, and others. However, their mounts had extremely fast speeds, and Ye Qingcheng, who had the highest cultivation, had unlimited killing intent. Her body movements were like a dragon entering the sea, so fast that it was incredible. In an instant, all these enemies were killed. Wang Shui, Zhu Xiaoman, and others immediately rode on the cranes and peacocks, and returned to the Suzaku Holy Land under the protection of everyone. Swish! Qin Feng's speed was so fast that the anti-immortal step turned him into a faint after-image in the void, and in a blink of an eye, he arrived outside the Yan Kingdom Imperial City. Boom! Without any worries, Qin Feng fought with all his strength, and the energy light was erupting like a volcano. In an instant, Qin Feng stood in the 9 forbidden area, and the vision of the God King surrounded him. A bright moon appeared on the sea, illuminating the world. The two of them attacked powerfully in the mountains. A mountain collapsed directly under the bombardment of the two. The earth was shaking, and the mountains were shaking. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 508. Ang, Roar. The sky was full of divine clouds, and the beasts in the barren mountains in the night were awakened, roaring continuously, and the sky seemed to be falling down. The two were full of vitality, and they merged with the heaven and earth in the void. The sword light moved the 9 heavens, and countless swords whistled, as if they came from ancient times, terrifying and horrified. The world is silent. Suddenly, the Dark Knight Demon Lord shouted loudly and used the middle-level immortal skill that made him famous, and instantly turned his body into a black state. Countless black lights covered the sky like a waterfall, and his breath was everywhere in the sky. His figure appeared in 9 strange images in the void. Behind each strange image, there was a black curtain-like ring, releasing wisps of black light, connecting with the sky and the earth, and the air was blocked and turned into a black curtain. The black curtain instantly spread out, turning the world into a gray, and Qin Feng was swallowed up in an instant. The night became the eternal theme color, making the world silent. Only in the black circle, there was a black flame burning, trying to refine Qin Feng directly, on the spot, mysterious and unpredictable. Bang! At this moment, Qin Feng suddenly felt that the weather around him suddenly darkened, and his fire eyes could not see through it. There is no other color in the world, only eternal black, as if exiled to the darkness. Qin Feng knew that this was the secret method used by the Dark Knight Demon Lord. Since it was a secret method, there must be a way to crack it. Behind Qin Feng, the God King vision suddenly burst into bright light, and the golden bell covered him, like a huge light source, trying to illuminate this place. Boom! Qin Feng punched out, and the true energy in front of him turned into a bright beam of light, and he moved forward bravely. However, Qin Feng's punch was like a drop in the ocean, and did not cause any waves. Little did they know that in the outside world, this punch penetrated the black curtain, and the golden light column instantly pierced through the void, and hit a mountain with a loud bang. The mountain collapsed and spread out extremely violent waves. The Dark Knight Demon Lord was amazed. If such an attack hit him, he would not be able to bear it and would be torn into pieces in an instant. The other party is not the son of the Suzaku Holy Land. To be able to get to this point, he really has extraordinary means. The Dark Knight Demon Lord was deeply surprised. What he didn't understand was that such a stunning genius was actually driven out of the ancient Holy Land. The Qin clan of the ancient Holy Land really made a mistake. Qi La. In the vision of the Dark Knight Demon Lord, Qin Feng used the Suzaku sword technique with the Juexian sword in his hand to cut through the void. However, the same thing happened. The sword floated to the distance, still without any waves, and disappeared into the invisible. At the same time, he stepped on the immortal step, and moved freely here. He estimated that he rushed out more than 10 miles in an instant, but he was still in the vision of the Dark Knight Demon Lord, which made him frown slightly. And the same scene happened in the 10,000 worlds. Qin Feng's Suzaku sword light swept across the sky, spreading thousands of meters of waves. The two peaks, including a large number of giant trees that were as thick as a man's embrace, collapsed into ruins under this sword, and the rocks collapsed and the clouds flowed with destructive energy. Damn, this kid is really too weird. The Dark Knight Demon Lord was very shocked. Qin Feng was in his vision, but he could still have such a terrifying method. It was so evil that people dared not be confident. In the vision of the Dark Knight Demon Lord, Qin Feng, the God King, was still boiling. He used countless techniques to move freely here, but he could not break out of this vision no matter what. It was like a small world, which directly isolated Qin Feng. His Taoism seemed to have lost its effect, and it was really like the silence of heaven and earth. In the outer imperial city, countless people were shocked. They looked at the movement coming from the barren mountain and were all shocked. God King Qin Feng is trapped. Facing such a terrible enemy, Qin Feng may not be able to escape this time. Who is the other party who is covering Qin Feng's whole body in the dark curtain? He is even more powerful than some marquises. Countless beings were discussing. Such a scene made them all uproar. The arrogant and domineering Qin Feng was forced into a desperate situation. This made people feel incredible. Boom. Suddenly, the light around Qin Feng was restrained, and his momentum became completely different. Qin Feng, who was originally full of golden light, calmed down. He was in the vision of the Dark Knight Demon Lord without any panic. In an instant, his own light was all transformed into Taiyan Qi, becoming very similar to the true Qi of the Dark Knight Demon Lord, flowing with a very terrible breath. Qi La. The Taiyan sword technique was instantly transformed. Qin Feng held the Juexian sword and slashed through the darkness. He merged with the world. The black Taiyan sword technique broke through the void. He stepped on the Nixian step and rushed through to see the light. At this time, Qin Feng was suspended in the air, his white Taoist robe fluttering, his hair emitting a little luster, and the whole person was extremely deep. Devil Lord of the Night, I admit that I underestimated you, but you will die. In Qin Feng's eyes, a cold light flashed. He stepped on the Nixian step and swung the Juexian sword to cut it out instantly. The Juexian sword was in the void, crossing the sky. The world was shaking like a rag. With a hiss, the void was broken by Qin Feng, with unimaginable energy to destroy the sky. At this moment, the face of the Dark Knight Demon Lord was solemn. Qin Feng actually broke through his dark vision, which made him very horrified. Qin Feng rushed out. He created a miracle again. Qin Feng is really a demon. Countless people were talking about it. They were suspended in the air, staring at the movement in the chaotic mountains. Their faces were solemn and surprised. They showed all kinds of complicated expressions and were surprised to the extreme. Faced with such a horrible killing, Qin Feng created another miracle. He cut open the illusion with one sword, just like the creation of the world, which was simply terrifying. Zheng. A sword chant moved the 9 heavens. Without the slightest hesitation, the Dark Knight Demon Lord slashed forward with the killing sword in his hand to block Qin Feng's Juexian sword. Dang clang! A shocking metal tremor came. Without any suspense, the Juexian sword completely took the upper hand and instantly shattered the killing sword of the Dark Knight Demon Lord in the void. After the sword collapsed, countless pieces of immortal gold swept across the world like meteors. The terrifying energy light shot through the world, shaking the mountains and turning countless ancient trees into ruins. Puff! The immortal absolute sword moved forward without hesitation. Qin Feng did not give the Dark Knight Demon Lord any chance. He rushed over in an instant and killed him in the void. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 509. The Dark Knight Demon had a look of horror on his face. Before he could finish his words, he fell directly into the sky and could no longer die. After killing the Dark Knight Demon, Qin Feng picked up a diamond scratch card on the spot and scratched it open. Ding! Congratulations to the host who successfully used the diamond scratch off card and obtained 300,000 Mingzhao pills. Not, the majestic Dark Knight Demon actually exploded 300,000 Mingzhao pills. What a waste! Qin Feng had a look of regret on his face. He thought that in the future, the Dark Knight Demon Lord's cultivation would lead to some formless divine elixirs, immortal gold techniques and the like, but he didn't expect that it would only be the Mingzhao Dan. Fortunately, these Mingzhao pills are in sufficient quantity, and it seems that they are enough for him to reach the 8th level of Shenzhou. After doing all this, Qin Feng did not leave. He was suspended in mid-air, surrounded by true energy, replenishing his own energy. He just floated quietly between heaven and earth, as if waiting for someone to arrive. Why doesn't Qin Feng leave quickly? What on earth is he doing? He seems to be waiting for someone. Is there someone else hiding in the forest? Some people were talking about it. Qin Feng did not leave after such a fierce battle, which made people speculate. After waiting for a long time, the other party did not show up, which made Qin Feng feel very helpless. Stop hiding. I've discovered you a long time ago. You're really calm. Qin Feng stared at a mountainous area speechlessly. When he was fighting the Dark Knight Demon, someone approached him. When he killed the Dark Knight Demon Lord Roar, the other party still did not come forward. This concealment and mentality were beyond the reach of ordinary people. If he guessed correctly, the person coming was definitely a killer from the Assassin dynasty, or at least a son of God. When did you discover me? With the silent sword, a figure appeared in the mountains. The figure seemed to be illusory, blending into the heaven and earth. If one had not seen it with one's own eyes, no one would believe that there was a figure hiding there just now. Ever since the first time when the son of God from the Assassin dynasty came to attack me, I have been extremely concerned about your system of skills. When you got close to me, I sensed it instantly. Qin Feng stood in the void, calm and unhurried, his black hair dancing in the wind, and he had a terrifying posture that no one in the sky or on earth could match. The reason why he found the enemy who came to attack him was simply because that place was the most ordinary. Any rocks, grass, or trees are flowing with a faint energy, which can be sensed by his fiery golden eyes. It's just that some of them are so subtle that they are difficult to distinguish. The hidden position of the killer has no energy at all. This is the biggest flaw. Qin Feng has completely noticed it. This is enough to show the terror of his piercing eyes. I once heard that you have a heavenly eye, but I never knew whether it was true or false. Now it seems that it is indeed true. Demon Tuo, the son of God of the Killer God dynasty, looked at Qin Feng from a distance. His expression was extremely calm, and it was found that there was no fear in his body. They knew that their killer dynasty had always walked in the darkness, but now they were exposed in the eyes of the enemy, but they didn't have the slightest intention. This was enough to show that the opponent was powerful and confident. The devil stepped forward. Although the opponent himself was walking around in darkness all year round, he gave people a very bright feeling. Although he looks extremely ordinary, the aura flowing out of his whole person is very strong. It's him. In the clouds, Ye Cheng and Suzaku were riding dragon horses. Through the moonlight, they saw the figure of the man in the mountains and forests. Who is he? Suzaku frowned and asked worriedly. Even Ye Cheng was so surprised by this person from the Assassin dynasty. It seemed like he was coming from an extraordinary person. The third-rank son of God among the Killer dynasty, Demon Tuo. Ye Cheng's expression was extremely cautious. She was stunningly beautiful, but at this time there was a worried expression on her face. The son of God, Demon Tuo, has a cultivation level in the realm of half-step lords. He is only 27 or 80 years old. At such an age, he has become a master in such a realm. This shows his strong qualifications. Isn't Qin Feng very dangerous? Suzaku's beautiful eyes were full of worry. If she hadn't known that she couldn't be of any help, she would have rushed down immediately. I discovered the trace and you didn't run away quickly. I have to say that you are very courageous. Qin Feng stood in the void, looking down at the divine son of the Killer dynasty below and continued, "Why don't you let your three helpers come out?" Haha, Mr. Qin, your spiritual sense is indeed amazing. Hearing this, Demon Tuo, the son of the Assassin dynasty, immediately laughed. His three helpers were nearby. Those three might be slightly weaker than him, but their concealment skills were better than his. I never thought that Qin Feng would see these three people hiding so well. Now that Qin Feng had seen their figures, the three masters no longer hid. As the killer god waved towards the devil, a shocking murderous intention suddenly burst out in the mountains and forests. Three figures, holding celestial knives and murderous auras, appeared in mid-air. "Son of God, please rest first and let the three of us destroy him," the leader said. His body was extremely thin, like half a bamboo pole, but he suddenly had a terrifying trend. The sword in his hand was not filled with breath, and the murderous aura in his hand rippled even in the void. "That's fine." The Son of God and the Demon Tuo nodded. He stood on a mountain like a killing god, possessing unparalleled vitality and blood. He stared at Qin Feng and the three killers on the road in mid-air. "Kill! Kill!" As Mochuo finished speaking, the three of them shouted together and rushed forward with their swords in hand. The terrifying murderous auras split the sky. The three men held fairy knives, like ferocious beasts emerging from the abyss. The terrifying auras shook the wilderness. Clang! Qin Feng greeted him with his bare hands, and the immortal king's heaven-suppressing finger shot out three beams of light, which collided with the three people's immortal knives. There was a shocking sound over the mountains and fields, which echoed here. Qin Feng was shocked. These three people were all in the domain of princes, and their swords were extremely strong, and their sword skills were extremely weird. The three people shook the immortal swords in their hands repeatedly, and actually melted Qin Feng's immortal king heaven-suppressing finger. These three people were very powerful, no wonder they dared to attack them. Swipe! The three of them took action again. Their power was terrifying, and the swords in their hands fell downwards, like the lower realm of the killing god. Without exception, these three people all had extremely ordinary faces, the kind that would not be discovered even if they were thrown into the crowd. But such a tyrannical method shows that they are extraordinary, murderous, and extremely powerful. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 510. Qi. The three of them took action together, the void was broken open, the fairy sword was suppressed, and the terrifying energy and principles were shot out, and the whole world was shaking. Qin Feng used his bare hands to fight against the immortal swords of the three people, and the immortal king's heaven-suppressing finger. The beam of light flowed out with endless divine inscriptions, resounding throughout the sky, and the brilliant light impacted, shaking all directions. The Son of God Demon Tuo's pupils shrank. Qin Feng had just finished the battle with Heiyem Yuzun, and he still had such terrifying fighting power, which forced him to be extremely cautious. The three people's sword skills are astonishing, and together they have several times the strength. This makes Qin Feng shocked. No one in the Killer Dynasty is easy to deal with. The battle here naturally alarmed countless masters in the imperial city of Yan Kingdom. Many people were suspended in mid-air, looking towards this place. Countless monks were all shocked. Three more terrifying masters were eyeing Qin Feng. This Qin Feng was really a monster, restless wherever he went. Clang! The light of the sword tore the heaven and the earth apart. The three of them were extremely brave, their eyes were shooting, and the terrifying sword energy circulated between the heaven and the earth. They almost hit Qin Feng several times. If it weren't for Qin Feng's immortal step, his footwork was so amazing, he might have been seriously injured. Qi. At this moment, Qin Feng took out his six-path immortal sword. As soon as the six-path immortal sword appeared, it was filled with a hazy red light. The terrifying murderous aura was as shocking as the abyss. The flowing light was dizzying. Great knife, I've ordered it. Demon Tuo, the son of God of the Killer God Dynasty, had intense eyes. His eyes were extremely deep, staring at the Six Paths immortal sword in Qin Feng's hand. The aura that filled the air from the Six Paths immortal sword was extremely astonishing, making him very excited and wanting to hold it in his hand. Qi. The 8 immortal killing moves were instantly used by Qin Feng. A bottomless pit appeared in the sky, suppressing it downwards, and the light of the sword penetrated the earth. The three people were instantly dispersed and could no longer form an encirclement. Chiang Chiang. There was an earth-shaking loud noise. Qin Feng stepped on the immortal step, chased after a killer in an instant, and killed him. At this moment, he stood upright and made a decision. The six-path sword moved forward inexorably, and the terrifying light penetrated the void. The assassin from the divine dynasty was instantly horrified, and he was stopped by the sword in his hand. However, the fairy sword in his hand could not stop Qin Feng's six-path fairy sword at all, and Qin Feng smashed the fairy sword into pieces in an instant. Moreover, the 8 immortal killing moves continued forward, splitting him in half from the center of his eyebrows, and he fell into the void. Brush. Qin Feng suddenly turned around and stared at the other two people. He was in the 9 Forbidden Realm, holding the 6 Paths immortal sword. He didn't even need to use the Samsara sword technique. He only used the 8 immortal killing styles to kill one person. It was really too much. Terrible. Now it's your turn. Qin Feng's eyes were piercing, and his 6 Paths immortal sword moved forward again, using the second and third moves of the 8 immortal slaying styles. The brilliant sword light swept across the sky, possessing the power to kill immortals and gods. The two tried their best to stop it, and were retreating rapidly. However, their speed is not as fast as Qin Feng's. Qin Feng in the realm of gods is already invincible, and few among his peers can match him. He stepped on the immortal step and turned into a stream of light. The overwhelming sword energy was suppressed. The immortal swords in the hands of the two men were instantly turned into powder by Qin Feng. At the same time, the 6 Paths immortal sword continued to step forward, and the terrifying light rushed past, cutting the two killers directly in the void. This. Many monks in the distance didn't know what to say. The sound of such a battle in the middle of the night spread for dozens of miles, alarming countless people in the city. But everything that happened in front of them made them almost numb. Who else is Qin Feng's opponent? 3 of his assistants were killed, and Demon Tuo, the son of the killer dynasty, showed no expression on his face, as if he was watching a battle that had nothing to do with him. At this moment, the 3 of them were dead. He was suspended in mid-air and took out a slender scimitar in his hand. This scimitar bloomed with water-like brilliance in the void, possessing incredible power. On his body, the blue Taoist robe was flying, and his black hair was dyed with a faint luster under the moonlight, giving him an incredible intimidating effect. Seeing your helper being killed, you are really heartless, like a machine. Qin Feng sneered and looked down at Demon Tuo. He was worthy of being the son of the killer dynasty. He was cold and ruthless. Such a person should not live in this world. The 3 of them wanted to take action for me, but unfortunately they weren't good at it. I can't blame the others. The godly son of the killer dynasty, Xiu, is so powerful. Even though he saw Qin Feng's power, he did not show the slightest intention. The full moon scimitar in his hand cut out with a brilliance like water, exuding a powerful force. Haha, come on, let me see what extraordinary skills you have. Qin Feng snorted coldly. He was too lazy to pay attention to the other party. He held the 6 Paths immortal sword and prepared to carry the Son of God on his back with his feet in the void. Kill. The Son of God and the Demon Tuo were hundreds of meters away from Qin Feng. He instantly waved his hand, and the fairy sword shot out a mysterious beam of light, which shot straight towards Qin Feng. A distance of 400 to 500 meters, swallowing everything, the full moon scimitar intertwined with the light of the sword, instantly floating in the air, like a sky curtain across eternity. Qin Feng raised his hand to fight back. The 6 Paths immortal sword also slashed through the heaven and earth. The dazzling blade light swept across the sky and collided with the opponent's blade curtain. A terrifying divine pattern burst out in the sky, and the energy was extremely shocking, and then everything was invisible. The power there exploded in full force. When the light dissipated, only the energy glow flowed, looking like a killing god. Swish. The son of God of the Killer God dynasty, Mo2, took a step, and the world swayed, and a terrible rhythm filled the air. His footsteps were mysterious, and in an instant, he came to Qin Feng's front like a god. Woo! The crescent scimitar broke through the void, and the silver blade light rushed into the sky, destroying the world beyond the limit, so fast that it was difficult for people to react. Qin Feng moved his body, and he barely avoided it. At the same time, he used his Six Paths immortal sword to cut out a red light, which brushed past the opponent's scimitar. Swish! Two loud noises were heard, and the stunning blade light split the sky and the earth. The mountains below could not withstand the attacks of the two men and collapsed, as if they were going to destroy the world. Clang clang. The godson of the Killer dynasty, Mo2, saw that he could not take down Qin Feng in a short time, so he decisively merged with the void and instantly fled to the distance without stopping. The godson of the Killer dynasty was so fast that he instantly pierced through the void and fled to the distance. There was a sound of explosion in the void.